What's up everyone, and welcome to another strategy video. Today we are going over my favorite way to get experience fast in Dragon Quest monsters, the Dark Prince. In typical Dragon Quest fashion, we're in the business of farming Metal King slimes. These monsters appear randomly in set locations in the game, so we are going to go over a route that lets you check the important spots while minimizing fast travel and loading times. I'll show you in this video how to get a monster from level 1 to level 100 in about 20 minutes of playtime, and if you're lucky, you can get over 20 million experience points in an hour using this method. First, you will need access to the upper echelons of the circles of Caprice, Conquest, and Temper, and there will be minor fast travel location name spoilers because of this, so consider this your spoiler warning. Also, because this is a very late game strategy, you will need a monster who can reliably defeat Metal King slimes. I use Krystalinda with Ice Age, Razerburn with Hellitosis, and Fluffy with Big Banga, but other monsters will work too. I do not outspeed the Metal King slimes, so if you want this method to be even faster, try a liquid metal slime in your party. Initially, I was casting Oomph on a monster that had Slime Smasher in order to hit the metal slimes for weakness before I could overcome that defense, so use whatever strategy works for you and your current setup. Finally, you will want to have a bumper bonus ball in order to double the experience from 25 battles of the Metal King slimes, and these can be obtained reliably from the Treasure Trunks DLC, which I do recommend as it provides some useful items as you play. Next, let's go over the locations in the actual route we will be taking to encounter the Metal Slime Kings. First, we want to teleport to Amon's Sanctum in the upper echelon of the Circle of Caprice and check for 3 Metal King slimes as we make our way to the bottom of the map. This map is smaller than it looks, and because there aren't any obstacles, it's easy to traverse. We will want it to be winter here so that we can walk over the ice, and as you can see here, the trajectory checks for 1 Metal King slime on the altar to the east, doubles back, drops down and checks the frozen lake, and then makes its way back underneath the bridge where the Rose Hill Tower is in the Circle of Caprice. Next, we are going to teleport to the Hopeful Haven in the upper echelon of the Circle of Conquest and check for 2 Metal King slimes by heading north along the west path. Finally, we are going to teleport to Dragonspate in the upper echelon of the Circle of Temper and check the middle of the lake for the final Metal King slime. Again, you will need it to be winter here to get over the frozen lake. After you check each of these 3 areas, you'll just go ahead and rinse and repeat and keep checking until you have the experience you want and are done farming experience using this method. Here I'm just going to synthesize a level 1 box slime to use as an example during this method to show you that we are indeed taking a monster from level 1 to level 100 in a short amount of time using this method. Some monsters take more and some monsters take less experience to get to level 100, so your mileage may vary depending on which monster you are trying to raise to level 100, but I figured a random monster would be a good proxy for a generic take on how this method works and how quickly you can amass experience. As you can see, we are at 95 hours and 20 minutes of playtime, so by the end we will check the clock to see how long it took to get this monster from level 1 to level 100. And without further ado, we are going to teleport to the upper echelon of the Circle of Caprice and begin making the rounds. One tip I have is that if you are working with monsters that don't outspeed the Metal King slimes like I am, my Krystalinda, my Razerburn, my Fluffy don't outspeed the Metal King slimes, it's a good idea to put down a hard save before each encounter. That way you can soft reset and reload in the event that all of the Metal King slimes in the encounter flee before you're able to fell them and get your experience. Another thing I want to mention is that you can encounter anywhere from 1 to upwards of 3 Metal King slimes in one battle. The most I've ever seen is 3 in one battle. So there is some variance to this method, and there is some variance to how long it will take you to gain however much experience you want, because in the event that you encounter 3 Metal King slimes, each encounter none of them ever flee, and you successfully kill them all, then of course you're going to have a significantly faster run than somebody who has to do a lot of soft resetting. But I find that this run that I have recorded here is on balance pretty representative of all of the experience farming I've done in this game. Also, to preserve my bumper bonus ball experience doubling, I go ahead and run from every encounter that I get into that isn't a Metal King slime, and there are a few in this run, so that also tacked on a little more time to this run. Ideally, you would like to have multiple monsters in your party who can successfully defeat the Metal King slimes. That way, if, for example, one of them runs out of MP, since we aren't teleporting to any of the Rose Hill Towers, if any of them run out of MP, you can have another monster just to use as backup to do their attacks and spells to get your experience from these battles. That's everything I have as far as tips using this method, so I'm going to go ahead and duck out of the voice recording, and you can go ahead and watch the rest of the battles, or you can skip to the end to see the final result. This is going to be the final battle of our level 1 to 100 run, and if we note the time, 95 hours, 42 minutes, it took about 20 minutes to get from level 1 to level 100 using this method for this box slime. As you can see, we got about 6.5 million experience in 20 minutes of playtime. So doing a little calculations, we get about 20 million experience per hour using this method, which is great if you are trying to max out your stats through long synthesis chains. Here is my Krystalinda build. She is holding the anti-freeze belt and uses Ice Age from the Talent Refrigerator. This alongside her traits Crackmeister, Ultra Crafty Cracker, and then Crafty Cracker from her accessory give her enough ice power to overcome the defenses of the Metal King slimes. Similarly, Razerburn, holding the Asbestos belt with his natural traits using the move Hellitosis, does the same thing. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this strategy is as useful to you as it was for me, and I will catch you next time on Gaming After Hours.